The wind swept into the Mississippi Delta as the sun went down, and it spawned a tornado so powerful, the National Weather Service put out an urgent warning saying simply, to protect your life, take cover now.
The state of my town, devastation.
The storm left a huge scar on the Delta from Rolling Fork to Chula to Black Hawk all the way to Winona and beyond.
It came through. When it came through, it sounded like a helicopter real fast. And it came so fast and quick. We couldn't do nothing but get up on the cover.
Tonight, folks continue cleaning up, many in disbelief even now that one of nature's most powerful forces took all they have in just a few minutes' time.
As I look around, families are affected. Homes are torn up. Families are without a place to live. Children are hungry this morning. No clothes. We're devastated.
Tonight we have team coverage of what happened and how people are dealing with devastation in the Delta.
News that works for you. This is the Delta News at 10.
Also tonight, people helping people as folks load up their trucks and help their neighbors. Now you can get involved too, just ahead. And the tornadoes weren't done when they left here. We'll show you what happened after the storms left the Delta. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Delta News Weekend. I'm Dennis Turner. The devastation in the Delta we're dealing with tonight may linger in our memories for a long time, as even the experts tell us last night's tornado was very unusual. Here's a look at what we know tonight. We know the tornado killed at least 26 people, and disaster leaders tell us to expect more in the coming days as rescue and recovery efforts continue. Meteorologists tell us tonight the tornado stayed on the ground about 170 miles. Those experts also say the intensity and the longevity of this storm make it extremely rare. And we also know tonight the storm system continued up toward Alabama and Tennessee, where it spawned other tornadoes that did more damage. As the South Mississippi Delta continues picking up tonight from the devastating tornado that swept through several small towns, there's still a sense of disbelief. Even now, 24 hours after the devastating storms came through, lots of folks still can't believe the damage was so widespread and so powerful. Early estimates told of more than 20 people dead, and a number expected to grow more by the hour as the Delta gets its first look in daylight of the powerful tornado that swept through the South Delta overnight. The first reports of trouble came in around 8 Friday night in the town of Rolling Fork, just south of Greenville.
Trees down everywhere, lines, power lines, phone lines, everything's out. It's a blackout. People just trying to get home today, check on their family like I am, trying to get home to my mom.
In Rolling Fork, the sense of loss came quickly with the storm that took property and people, leaving survivors in shock.
Because we had to help dead bodies out of the house. So that is very disturbing. Like actually seeing people losing their lives over a bad weather like this, that is not nothing.
The tornado hit hard and it hit quickly, leaving little time to take cover.
What's going through my head? Lord, I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't want me or the kids to die.
I got in the bathroom, in the tub with my wife, and all threw pillows over us, and we could hear stuff hitting the roof, a lot of trees down.
In Silver City, a similar scene of devastation with flattened homes and debris everywhere and power outages leaving the area in total darkness as people went into rescue mode.
Everybody is helping everybody, not in just this part of town that happened. It's everywhere. Everybody is being a helping and praying vessel for everybody.
This map shows many of the damaged areas, including a church in the Black Hawk community, where the Weather Service reports the roof of a church came down, injuring several people. Groups like WISCA, the Washington Warren Issaquena Sharkey Community Action Assistance Agency, offering its help today in getting people back on their feet in a process that in some areas will take quite a bit of time. Because in communities left with almost nothing, people will have to get over the shock before they can recover.
How long do you think y'all are going to be out here?
As long as it takes. No telling.
Now, according to National Weather Service records, last night's tornado was the deadliest in Mississippi in more than 10 years. Now, compare that to the tornado outbreak in April 2011, when 31 people died in Mississippi. Those tornadoes tore through several states in the southeast in what experts called a super outbreak that killed about 320 people and left about $12 billion in damage. A month later, another deadly twister hit Joplin, Missouri, killing 158 people, making 2011 the headline year for tornadoes at the time, according to experts. 12 people died in Mississippi during Easter storms in April 2020, and Mississippi lost 10 people during a tornado outbreak in April of 2014. As dawn broke, so did many hearts in the Delta when they say the utter devastation of towns and communities from Rolling Fork all the way to Winona and beyond became apparent. Delta News reporter Woodrow Wilkins gives us a tour of the damage in Rolling Fork.
I'm standing outside the Sunflower County Courthouse. Got to watch my step because there's a bunch of debris on the ground. I'll show you some of it. Of course, I'm quite confident that these cables have no juice right now. But as you can see, we've got trees falling down and damage. I'm going to turn around so you can actually see the courthouse building behind me. Tipping that up. You've got a U.S. flag that's been torn from its pole. And let's see, I'm going to tilt up. See, you can see part of the roof is damaged, but a lot of the building looks like it's pretty bad. And several buildings around me in the downtown area. You can see behind me at the corner there, another tree is fallen. Lots of trees down around the area, and debris and some property damage as well. I've just started my tour, so who knows what I'll find as I move about town. But I just wanted you to see this shot here of the courthouse. Here I'm standing on a footbridge that crosses Deer Creek right in the middle of town. And this location offers very good perspective of how widespread the damage is. Now, I've covered tornadoes probably 4 times in my career in video. And this is by far the worst I've seen of those that I've actually been out to cover. And I'm just gonna do a rotation here and show you just how devastating, ignore my camera behind me, this tornado was. You can see over my right shoulder here behind me, this is one of several locations I've seen around town where people are giving out bottled water. They're serving sandwiches in this location, and in a couple of other spots I've seen them grilling, so they're serving hamburgers and hot dogs. And I've also seen people giving away supplies like paper towels, Pampers for those who have babies. And so there's a lot of people out here trying to help, and others are trying to clean up. And that this is it's about a little about 12 o'clock Saturday afternoon, give or take a few minutes. And so this is one of the things that's going on here in Rolling Fork.
And people in the Spring Lake subdivision of Carroll County tell us they are trapped in their community tonight with no power and no way in or out. Our neighbors there in between Vaden and Winona say downed trees have blocked their only ways in and out of the community, and they remain cut off from the world tonight with no power and no means to clear their roads of debris. They tell us they've learned it could take days to restore power there, and many have become concerned for their community and their neighbors whose homes took heavy damage. Again, this is the Spring Lake community between Vaden and Winona. Ahead, Mississippi's governor heads to the scene of the devastation in the Delta, but first, we have more storm potential in our forecast. Here's Chase.
Yes, we are expecting another round of showers and thunderstorms that could be moving back into the Delta, particularly the South Delta once again later tomorrow night. I'll have more details about those impacts and what to expect later into next week. Coming up next in your forecast. Things have really begun to quiet down across the Mississippi Delta and the Arkansas region. We hadn't saw hardly any cloud cover at all, saw plenty of sunshine today. And not just us, a good chunk of the south has been relatively quiet. There were a few thunderstorms down in southern Alabama, moving throughout southern parts of Georgia. Had a few severe storms in central Georgia later on this evening, but most of the region towards the south has begun to really quiet down. Now, really looking back into last night, the tornado that did hit Rolling Fork was registered as an EF4 tornado that was issued by, issued by the National Weather Service, and then that same tornado stretched all the way to Winona, about 100 miles of that same particular storm system that went all the way into the South Delta. And we still had a lot of reports well up to the north into parts of Batesville and also in parts of northeastern Mississippi and area near Amory, and also into parts of northern Alabama. So it was definitely rough last night, but fortunately today and tonight we are going to see quiet conditions. But it was warm today for cleanup effort. The South Delta will be under a marginal threat for severe weather once again. Now, the greatest threat is going to be mainly along the I-20 corridor and down to the south and south central Mississippi, but a good chunk of the south will still be under a marginal threat. And what's going to be causing this is another system that will approach from the southwest out of Texas, and we'll see storms fire up mainly along the I-20 corridor near Jackson that will stretch into central parts of Alabama. Then as the frontal system pushes on through, we're going to see some northerly air try to push back in, but this same boundary layer is going to kind of stall out, and we could even see some lingering shower activity as we kick off next week going into Monday. Now, tracking everything out through 6 o'clock in the morning, we'll be mostly clear across the region with a few clouds down to the south around Yazoo City and around Kosciuszko. Then 1 o'clock, pretty much everyone's going to be picking up on plenty of sunshine as temperatures warm back up to the upper 70s and could even see some lower 80s down to the south. Then 6 o'clock hits, we'll see some more showers and thunderstorms. Some of those could potentially be strong in southern portions of our viewing area around Yazoo City, Sharkey, and Sequina County. Then as we head into 9 o'clock, we're still seeing a lot of activity that'll be going on, mainly in the South Delta and along the I-20 corridor down towards Jackson. Then 3 o'clock in the morning, things begin to quiet down, and we'll start to pick up on clearing skies, and we'll see plenty of sunshine as we head into Monday morning. Temperatures warming up to the lower 60s, and then Monday afternoon will start to be more sunshine, but we could see some more light showers start to move back in by late Monday night, going to the overnight hours going into Tuesday. Now, the marginal risk for severe weather in the South Delta, mainly some strong winds and large hail, are really the only thing we're going to be looking at. I know it's not something we'll want to see again. Now, the tornadic threat is relatively low, but we can't exactly rule that out even with flash flooding. Once again, I know this is not something we want to see again, but the threat is a lot lower than what we saw last night. So there's something to keep in mind and be a weather alert once again later tomorrow night. We'll see our low here in Greenville with a low of 52 degrees. Could be mostly clear. Winds will stay out of the north about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow we're going to see a high of 78 with daytime sunshine. Evening thunderstorms will move in with some of those potentially being strong, mainly in the South Delta. Winds will stay mainly out of the north and the northeast. In the 7-day forecast, we'll be picking up drier weather by Tuesday and Wednesday, but we're going to see more rain and thunderstorms move back into the area later into Thursday and Friday, and that could continue into Saturday of next weekend. Our daytime highs will stay mainly in the 70s, dropping to upper 60s, but then back to upper 70s by the latter half of next week.
Coming up, how you can help our neighbors dealing with devastation in the Delta. But first, the governor takes action to help. That's coming up. Governor Reeves visited the damaged areas today and to help with relief efforts, while search and rescue teams remain on the ground working to find those missing. Shirley Malashi takes us there.
It sounded like a freight train driving over my home.
A state of emergency underway in Mississippi after a deadly and devastating outbreak of powerful storms and tornadoes swept through the state Friday night. In the small town of Rolling Fork, Mississippi, many homes and businesses are completely destroyed.
When daylight comes, you can get a more visual of what happened, and it's worse than I saw this morning at 3 o'clock throughout the morning. It's worse. My community it's gone.
The powerful storms left several people injured and also knocked out power for thousands of people living in Mississippi, Alabama, and Tennessee. One Mississippi business owner says she and others survived the tornado by hiding in a freezer.
Then all of a sudden the lights started flickering, and I don't know if it was me or somebody who said cooler, and my husband started just pushing us all in the cooler, and this little spot saved our life. We don't know who's alive and who's gone, and just trying to hold it together.
Now Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves and several state and federal emergency officials are in hard-hit Sharkey County to help in recovery efforts. Governor Reeves says President Joe Biden assured him FEMA would be there to support. Shelley Malashi reporting.
And as we said, there's a slight risk for some more severe weather down the south end of the Delta coming up tomorrow as well. Meantime, Governor Reeves issued a proclamation declaring a state of emergency for the areas affected by the tornado. Governor Reeves didn't list the counties affected. All he said was the affected areas and the state of emergency, he says, will last there. He says the state of emergency will last until there is no threat to public safety by Mississippi law. His proclamation also puts all state agencies on notice to activate their emergency plans as set forth in the state's comprehensive emergency management plan. Still to come, we'll have an extended talk with the mayor of Rolling Fork. But first, how you can help our neighbors in need. That's next. If you were out shopping today, you probably noticed lots of people buying lots of water. Anybody with a big vehicle could be seen buying cases and cases and cases of bottled water to take down to people who'd lost everything. And some took more than water, like this young man we stopped to talk to today.
I'm Brooks. I represent TC Academy out of school program, and we're going down Rolling Fork just to help.
Cool. What did you hear about what's going on down
there? Oh, it looked terrible. So I know we're going to help our neighbors. Anytime we need help, we're going to be there for everybody.
What are you taking down there?
We got water, we got tissue, we got chips. We got, little snacks for the kids if anybody needs something.
It's awesome.
I appreciate you.
How long you'll be down there? It's all day?
We're going to be down there all day. So if you see the red Chevy, you need anything, just give us a holler.
Mississippi Delta Community College has a good way to help you get needed items to our neighbors dealing with the disaster. The college is holding a relief drive for both Rolling Fork and Silver City. They say water is the biggest need, along with cleaning supplies and baby supplies and toiletry items. You can drop off any donations at the Vanderveer Student Union on the Moorhead campus and at GHEC in Greenville. All perishable non-food items and ice and coolers is also welcome. After the tornadoes tore through the Delta, they made their way up into the hill country of northeast Mississippi. Here's a look at the damage to the town of Amory in Monroe County. You can see several pine trees down and covering the roads, many of them snapped off or listing at extreme angles from the wind and on top of homes as well. And take a look at what used to be the Exxon station in Amory. Last night's tornado turned it into a pile of twisted metal. Pretty bad damage there, too. Coming up next, the mayor of Rolling Fork talks about survival and what help the town needs. We close tonight with an extended interview with Rolling Fork Mayor Eldridge Walker, who describes for us in very painful detail just what has happened in Rolling Fork and how the community is doing tonight.
Can you tell me about the state of your town right now? What do you know?
The state of my town? Devastation. As I look around, families are affected. Homes are torn up. Families are without a place to live. Children are hungry this morning, no clothes. We're devastated. What's important to me right now is that they're taken care of. that's what's happening.
I can see that you're getting a little emotional here, and understandably so. These are people that you know, right? And this is a small community.
That's correct.
As you're hearing the names coming in of people who have passed and those who no longer have a home, are these names that are clicking to you? Do you know these people?
As you said, this is a small community. Everybody knows each other. Everybody that's been affected by this storm, every life has been lost, are people that I know. And it's pretty tough right now.
Can you mention some of the public locations like the police department? It's damaged or destroyed?
Well, I walked through my office this morning about 3 o'clock a.m. I didn't recognize it. The city hall is torn up. The police department is affected as well. Quite a bit of damage. And our public buildings are displaced at this moment.
Are they still standing, damaged or destroyed?
Partially. The police station, again, the entire office is on the ground. City Hall is still standing, but the roof has collapsed, and the building is going to need quite a bit of repair.
What sort of help are you guys getting from the state or from volunteers? What help do you need?
We've been contacted by the state entities here in Mississippi. I've been contacted by my congressman, my representative, and other mayors throughout the state of Mississippi who are calling in and sending folk in this direction to help us out. And I'm certainly thankful to them for helping us at a time like this. As you can see, we're in need of help.
Can you go more into that? What sort of help do you think is the most helpful?
Well, right now we want to make sure that those families who are displaced, that they have some place to go and that they have proper shelter, they have food, water, so that we can make it through this devastating situation. So we want to make sure we take care of our families. That's what's most important.
And sir, you yourself were trapped inside of your home last night with your wife when this tornado came through. What did you hear? What happened?
It sounded like a freight train driving over my home, and it happened so quickly. By the time we responded to the alert, I got my wife, we got in a tub, covered our heads. By the time we did that, the storm was coming over, and all we could hear was the house breaking apart.
Is it, in those moments, more heartbreak? Is it more fear? Is it just focus on survival? What does one go through in those moments?
At a time like that, it's survival. It's survival. And we were praying that we make it through the storm. And thank God we did. But there are others who are close to us. Our heart is broken, who didn't make it. As I told you earlier, this is a small community, and everybody knows each other.
Friends, neighbors, or family members that you...
And so that is our look at the devastation in the Delta tonight. The deadly tornado that tore through our area, leaving that 170-mile scar on the land and in all our lives. This week, the Delta News will bring you daily updates on the recovery in the South Delta and in Carroll County. We'll be looking for you again this week.